In a world where carbs are your enemy, you need one man to help you fight your battles. That man is Jimmy.
Combating nutrition disinformation and general bull. It's Jimmy Rants. JimmyRants.com.
What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another Instagram Live, and we're here with another episode of Jimmy Rants. JimmyRants.com is the website. Here's how you can engage in the show. You start off on Instagram. We do a couple of live videos every day, so go follow me there at Livin' Low Carb Man. That's LIVINLOWCARBMAN. Once you are there, you can engage in the content live. After the live's over, you can watch it on replay for up to 24 hours, so go watch the replay on Instagram. But if you missed Instagram or if you don't do Instagram, it's all good. We put all the past episodes up on YouTube. Finally, we have a Jimmy Rants podcast available on Apple Podcast and Stitcher, which has the best of the best moments of this here show. JimmyRants.com is the website. Today's Jimmy Rants is all about this mantra that people like to say quite often when they go on any kind of lifestyle change, be it a diet or some change in their habits, something. They like to say, well, I would do whatever they're going to do, but I just don't have the willpower to do it. Okay. I hate that phrase, by the way, that people say they don't have the willpower to eat a diet like keto, for example, because none of us that have been overweight or unhealthy in some way have great willpower. Otherwise, how in the world did we get obese and unhealthy to begin with? So what I want to talk about here today is this whole notion of not having enough willpower. And we need to stop saying that. Stop saying you don't have the willpower to do keto, because quite frankly, you just don't need it. So a lot of people, they come to keto, they start eating low carb, so they have to cut out bread and pasta and sweets and all this, what I call crappy garbage, from their diet. Oh, I can't handle the cravings. It's just too much to give up all of that stuff. Not realizing that once you get into this way of eating, you actually discover that those things are an afterthought. You don't really want those things very quickly. This is the amazing thing that people just don't believe you. When you start eating a low carb, moderate protein, high fat diet, your body shifts so quickly. Within a 2 to 4 week period, you physically change the metabolism of your body from being mostly a sugar burner to mostly a fat and ketone burner. So when the fat and ketones kick in as your primary fuel source, those things that you thought you could never live without, which you guys know me, back in the day, it was macaroni and cheese. Back in the day, it was whole boxes of Little Debbie snack cakes. Back in the day, it was Coca-Cola till it was coming out of my ears, and then I drank some more. Those are all the things that I used to think I could, quote, never live without. And that I didn't have the willpower to do something like give up sugar, give up carbs, eat a ketogenic diet. But the reality is, once you do it, once you get into this way of eating, once you realize the incredible benefits of anti-hunger, anti-cravings, delicious food, oh yeah, by the way, once you have all of those things going for you, you don't even think about what you miss. Which is why I think this whole notion of you need to have robust willpower in order to do keto, it's just silly to me. No, you don't. You just need to do the diet. And if you do the diet, then your body will want to start eating this way very naturally. And it's that want power that I think is the key to all of this. So if you go keto with a pessimistic attitude of, yeah, this ain't going to work because I'm going to miss all these things and I just don't have the willpower, blah, 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 well, then don't be surprised if in the very near future, you're right back where you started from. And you're eating a crappy carbage diet and you start gaining weight and you start having worse health markers. You start doing horrible again. Okay? So I'm hoping this is coming across loud and clear that if you want to go on some kind of a change in your life, and what I'm specifically talking about here today is a low-carb, high-fat ketogenic diet, if that's what your goal is, set it in mind that you will succeed. Set it in mind that you have the desire for this to work. And I've said this many times on this show. Hopefully it doesn't sound like a broken record, but I'm going to sound like a broken record because a lot of people still worry about what's happening with the scale. When you go keto, scale weight loss is not the marker you need to be paying attention to. Look at your blood sugar markers. Look at how your hunger is under control. Look how your cravings are under control. Look how long you're able to go between meals without eating. Look at all of these subjective markers and then hard blood markers like HSCRP for inflammation, blood sugar, blood ketones. The list goes on and on and on. And none of that has anything to do with willpower. We've got to stop with these tautologies surrounding diet. And the one that ticks me off more than most is this whole idea, I don't have the willpower to do keto. Yes, you do, if you choose to. Yes, you do, and you will succeed if you make it your sincerest desire to be successful eating keto. I just don't like this whole notion that you have to have some kind of arbitrary magical willpower that, quite frankly, at the end of the day is unreasonable to think about. Because will only take you so far. I'll tell you what willpower was. Back when I used to do low-fat diets and I was starving all the time, I would literally eat a meal and less than an hour later I would be hungry. But it was because I underate calories and didn't have enough fat in the meal because it was a low-fat diet. And so I would be starving. And it would be celebrated that you're supposed to feel a little bit hungry. That's okay. And I was always miserable. Did I lose weight? Yeah. But because I was literally starving. Now, it took every ounce of willpower within me to not break from that. And eventually I did. In 1999... it was right after my brother Kevin had his 3 heart attacks in the span of a week. I was 28 years old when that happened, and my brother had 3 heart attacks in a week, and I'm like, whoa. He was only 4 years older than me at the time, and so I said, I've got to do something. So I go on a basically no-fat diet. For about 8 months, I believe I was on that diet, and it was at the 8th month that I broke. It was just, I was so miserable. I was so hungry. I was so undernourished that I rebelled and rebelled hard to the point that I gained back the weight that I had lost during that 8 months and then some, which was the last diet that I did before I started on a low-carb Atkins diet in 2004. And it was at that point that I felt every emotion of, you know what, if I have to eat that way, and if I have to will myself to grit my teeth through that kind of eating, I would rather be fat and happy than to have to go through that ever again. Now, thank goodness, in 2004, I started on the Atkins diet, which turned into a real foods-based diet, which turned into the ketogenic diet, which I'm now doing a keto carnivore diet. And had I not listened to my body, when it said that it needed to quit, I don't know how much longer I would have gone on that low-fat diet. I would have gone insane, probably. And Christine will tell you, my wife Christine will tell you, I was not a happy man that year in 1999 when I was trying to do that no-fat diet. I mean, literally, my fat grams were under 10 grams a day. Pathetic. And then, meanwhile, I had naturally fat-free marshmallows. A low-fat food, Twizzlers. You know, I had all this really high sugar stuff, but it was no fat, so it had to be healthy. Can I get a witness, anyone? Anybody been there? So, the bottom line of what I'm sharing here in this Jimmy Rants is, please stop saying that you don't have the willpower to do keto, because quite frankly, you just don't need it. So we need to stop with the tautologies and say, oh, I can't do that because, oh, the willpower. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Because your body will reward you for eating real whole food-based fats, minimizing the carbohydrate intake so that it doesn't impact your blood sugar and insulin levels, and mostly real whole foods. That's the key, you guys. And hopefully that's coming through loud and clear. All right, I want to see what you guys have to say. Welcome in, welcome in. If you are a regular Jimmy Rants fan, you'll notice I did not do any Jimmy Rants yesterday. I had 101 degree fever yesterday coming back from that trip at the conference, and I was really, really sick, you guys. You could probably still hear it in my voice a little bit, but I feel a whole lot better. Sarah Jane says, it's about want power. Exactly. That's exactly right. Nita Barnes, that's what I was just thinking. I don't need it. Please tell me that. And I'm like, no, I don't. I love this way of eating. I feel like a new woman. And the cool thing about this, Nita, is when you go keto, you don't really feel deprived. So what are you willing yourself to? What will do you need in order to succeed? It's so pleasurable to eat the high-fat, very pleasurable tasting foods. I don't understand what the willpower would be. Bree says, I had only planned on doing keto for 3 weeks. I didn't think I could really do it, but 7 months later, and I'm loving it. Bree, you got the buy-in factor, my dear, and kudos to you that you're still at it. Beth, Keto Neogenesis, having no willpower comments almost always elicit a snarky response from me. Oh yeah, it's so hard to have the willpower to eat till I'm satiated and not worry about calories in and calories out. Beth, this is why I love you. Good job. Stephanie says it's a mental shift that's uncomfortable for about 5 minutes. Yeah, I mean, once you're able to put bacon in your mouth, full fat bacon, not that turkey crap, yeah, you get a quick buy-in factor to keto, that's for sure. Anita says, this diet is our nature, really. Yeah, when you eat as your body intends, minimal carbohydrate, lots of healthy fats, and let your body tell you when you've been satiated, that truly is the way we were supposed to be eating. Ashton said it's all about the mindset, what you want more for yourself. Yep. Leslie says, people around me say they must be doing something wrong with me not being hungry all the time. They reach for snacks every hour on the hour. It sucks to be them. And see, that's the thing. It's amazing. People say, well, you don't eat but like once or twice a day. I'm like, yeah, it's the only time I'm hungry. Yeah, but you have to be hungry. If you don't, you got to stabilize your blood sugar by eating. I'm like, how do you stabilize your blood sugar by eating? Eating does nothing but raise your blood sugar. The best way to stabilize your blood sugar is to go periods of intermittent fasting between meals. That does a really good job of stabilizing your blood sugar. Another thing that stabilizes blood sugar is making sure you're not eating the foods that would stoke blood sugar production to begin with. And gee, I wonder what foods that could be. Oh yeah, it's carbohydrates. Exactly. Welcome in. I can relate to the misery of low-fat diets. I'm never going back, says Leslie. Yeah, I just, no. What up, Keo Neo? What up, buddy? Thanks for being here. Yes, I am feeling better. Still a little bit nasally this morning, but I'm doing a lot better than I was yesterday. I literally cleared my calendar yesterday because I was just dead on my back. 101 degree fever was no fun, that's for sure. Yes, I do sound like I have a cold. Because I have a cold, Bonnie. Frame says it's about health, not losing weight. Always. Sam's mom says my diabetes is reversed. No more high blood pressure. No more sleeping all day. Less anxiety. It's the best I've ever felt. That's true. I only planned on doing keto for a week, says Beth. Today is my 1-year keto-versary. Congratulations, Beth. I know you've been at this for consistently for a little while, so good job. Bonnie says, I did Jenny Craig once a long time ago when I started to lose weight. I starved to death. I was so crabby and gave that up real quick. It's sad that most of the mainstream weight loss programs, Jenny Craig, Nutrisystem, South Beach Diet, Weight Watchers, on and on and on and on and on, are literally every single one of them predicated on a low-fat diet. All of them. And I know some of them are starting to get on the bandwagon of making a keto program, but come on. You do that now because it's hot in the culture. But if it's truly something that you believed in, you would have been about that a whole long time ago. They know if they give you a keto plan and you actually stick with a keto plan, that you'll never need their services again. But if they give you a low-fat diet plan, they know you're going to stick it out for a little while, get frustrated, give up, but then eventually you're going to come back to it again. Cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. I hate to be blunt about it, you guys, but that's exactly why the weight loss industry is still a thing. It shouldn't be. Carbon fiber keto says, I remember feeling like I would never be able to give up carbs. I was so fixated on the everything in moderation mindset. Oh, don't get me started on that one. I truly feel like a new person. Also, it's a long-term mindset. Yeah, again, we have these kind of tautologies that we believe in the dieting, health and dieting world. And the whole everything in moderation, I just have long despised that notion because it's silly. And this whole idea that you need willpower to succeed, it's just stupid. I don't know if I have the willpower to stop ketoing, says Brett. Seriously, I can't go back. And that's the thing. Once you get a taste of what keto will do for your health, you can't help but keep doing it for the rest of your life as long as you keep feeling well. With minor tweaks along the way. There's no big deal in changing things up, adding in a few things to kind of be ancillary parts of your keto journey. But keto, most people that start keto that actually do it the right way, get ample amounts of fat, ample calories, they don't have complaints about keto. Lena says the only willpower is to get over the carbs we can't eat and find an alternative. Yeah, that is in the initial things that people complain about is, well, I need a keto version of pasta. I need a keto version of bread. I need a keto version of cookies. And so they start doing all those things. The good news is we live in a day and age where all of those things are readily available. And then when the time comes that you don't need those things anymore, you let them go and you gravitate more to meat, fatty meats, vegetables, and fat. And that tends to be mostly real whole foods. That tends to make up most of your diet. MK says, I feel better than I have in years. Wish I could get my husband on board. I'm only 7 pounds from my goal. Husband has 75 plus pounds to go. I can't get him away from the garbage. And unfortunately, until the individual is ready, you can't really force them. I mean, I see it again and again. And the only thing I can encourage you with is just keep being that inspiration, keep being the encourager. And when the time comes, he's going to know where to go. I've seen it in a lot of my own family's life, and they've had ups and downs with keto, but a lot of them are now doing keto, even though they mocked us about it for many years. Litipon says, the fact that I don't have to take any meds for diabetes and high blood pressure makes it really worth it and easy to keep me on keto, for sure. Ashton said, what's so hard about eating delicious real whole foods instead of imitation food? Well, the problem, Ashton, is you have that realization because your eyes have been opened. Most people think food is in a grocery store. So whatever's in a grocery store, in a box, in a can, in a whatever, they think that's real whole food. So getting people to realize what is food, real food, from what is food like disease agents, which is what I call a lot of the sugary, grainy, crappy garbage stuff that's out there. Most of what's in a grocery store is food like disease agents, not actually real food. I found your podcast in the app Castbox. Is this the same as Apple iTunes? It's not, but Castbox is one of many that houses podcasts. So I'm glad you found it, Alberto. Thanks for that. I'm always seeing people in the Facebook groups I'm in talk about doctors telling them they can't do keto because of diabetes or fatty liver. I'm tired of misinformed doctors. Well, that's a whole nother issue. I could probably rant about how doctors are discouraging people, and I'm seeing and hearing about it every single day. People are writing me and go, oh, my doctor said this is the worst thing I could ever do for my diabetes. I'm like, no, this is the best thing you could ever do for your diabetes, for your fatty liver, for your PCOS. Come on. It's disgusting. Yo, Mama Lifts, lack of inflammation plus bacon. I am truly suffering here. Most people who have done calorie restriction diet, says Crystal, fear cutting out carbs will increase their hunger, so they won't even try. I would give them the challenge. All right, you think cutting out carbs will make you hungry. I want you to make sure that at every meal you are eating 70% of your calories from dietary fat. Now, obviously, then you have to have an education of fat calories are more dense than carbohydrate calories, 9 calories per gram for fat, 4 calories per gram for carbohydrate. And so you don't need don't need to eat a stick of butter. But the point being that you will become very satiated. The thing I try to tell people is challenge people to do it for a period of time. They get the buy-in factor, and then they don't stop doing it. Losing the Belly says it's all about the perception. You can look at what you're giving up, or you can look at everything you'll gain by making a change. And you're exactly right. The problem is people don't see what they're going to gain until they get into it. And quite frankly, people want to see the end result long before they actually get into it. You could tell them all about it, but until they get into it and realize, oh my gosh, I'm not getting hungry during the day. I can go, many hours between meals. I'm not having cravings. I don't want all of that crap I used to eat. Until they get there, they're not going to believe you that giving up bread and pasta and sweets and all the crappy garbage is a good thing. Sam says, I came back to Weight Watchers so many times, truly a waste of money. We all did. Don't beat yourself up over that. It's totally hard to make the mindset switch and hear the everything in moderation bull honky from everyone. It's so ingrained. It really is. Keto Mary, what's up, Mary? If I had willpower, I never would have gotten fat. Yeah, I said that at the very beginning of this Jimmy Rants of everybody talks about needing great willpower. And I'm like, if we had willpower, we would not have become obese. We would not have gotten unhealthy or whatever led us to keto to begin with. Willpower only just take you so far. It's the want power. Willpower is so misunderstood, and so is food addiction. Mary, and you're a living example of all of that. Bonnie said, I watched a show on sharks, learned that they eat things with the most fat for energy. So I thought of us with keto and our high energy level. Yeah, it's interesting that. And then I've talked to quite a few people that do like mountain climbing and living in like colder temperatures. They have to eat more fat to get more energy intake because of how frigid it is. It keeps their body warmer to have the higher amounts of calories. And you can't get calories higher unless you eat more fat in your diet. My hubby just joined me last month after almost a year, says Keto K-West KC. He finally realized that he doesn't need the garbage to feel full and satisfied. Well, I hope he continues it, and I hope he's getting good results. I'm glad that I have a doctor who's encouraging, says Val. Yeah, you can find some really good doctors out there. A lot of them will poo-poo you in the mainstream, but there are some great ones that are out there. I've got a list of them, you guys, at ketogenicdocs.com. Go check it out if you need a doctor close to where you live. We're constantly adding new ones. Crystal says, earlier this week, my mom told me that she fries in healthy oil, so I asked her what she was trying. I almost fainted when she said vegetable oils. I yelled a little, telling her to go throw it in the trash. That's part of the issue here too, is people try to make a change, but they're not fully educating themselves. They hear high fat and they think, oh, vegetable oil is just fine. We know that's a healthy oil and it's a high fat diet, therefore, and they're not totally getting it. Baby steps though, baby steps, encouraging her, letting her know what the good oils are, that probably will do her more good as she moves forward. But good thing you're there to slap it out of her hand. So guys, that's what I wanted to share with you guys here today in this Jimmy Rant. Stop saying that you don't have the willpower to do keto, because quite frankly, at the end of the day, you simply don't need it. That's it for this episode of Jimmy Rants. JimmyRants.com is the website. As always, pop on over to Instagram, because that's where I start off at Livin' Low Carb Man, LIVIN LOWCARBMAN. Once you're there, you can engage in the content live, just like all of these people did here today. If you missed the live, you can watch the replay for up to 24 hours. After 24 hours, we pop them all over onto YouTube. We're in the 190s now, you guys, in episodes on YouTube. We also have a Jimmy Rants podcast, which is available on Apple Podcast and Stitcher. It has the best of the best moments of this here show in podcast form. JimmyRants.com is the website. So until next time, we'll see you then.